recorded.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Sage Recharge. We're going to be recharging our Sage brains. If you're like me, you had great benefits from doing the program the first time around and have been doing the Grow program, but maybe not religiously, maybe not keeping up exactly every day with PQs and experience some slide here and there, getting sabotaged by your saboteuring brain and having trouble staying in Sage. And we just thought it would be so great at some point to invite everybody to do the program again. Then Shirzad came along a few months back and started reworking the entire program, taking a different approach to everything, redoing all the videos, working in little exercises, redoing the focuses, redoing the Grow program. And we thought, what a great time to do this. And then he offered an ability to take people that had already been through the program through it again at the existing rates versus the new rates. So we're like, oh, great. Then we can offer this at a big discount to all of you and give you a chance to be here. So we're super excited. And, just thinking back on how much this shifted my life the first time that I did it, we were the very first group to go through this program. He's now put thousands of coaches
Almost
through,
100,000.
oh my God, almost 100,000, right? And we were the first 100 going through it. And we went through it during the pandemic, which was a time of great stress. And this week feels very similar to the pandemic for me. With the stress in the United States right now. So I think it's a good time to be diving back into this. And I know that I turned what could have been a really uh, difficult period in my life into a really productive period in my life. It was the most financially rewarding year, the year that I went into this of my life so far. And I'm excited by what it really embracing this program, diving into it further and deeper, and taking more people through it, where that will take me over the next 8 weeks, which takes us, by the way, to the last weekend of the year. So we will be wrapping this up as we launch 2025. Isn't that great? Theresa?
So I really wanted to specifically tell you guys what's different about the program and what Rick and I liked about this new one. So there's a lot more focus on fun. There's a lot more focus on ease. Shirzad heard us because the original program worked really well, but there were parts that many of us were like, you know what, this would be a little bit better and this would be a little bit better. So there is zero guilt making in this program. In fact, you get to do, he'll say, if you want to do the next coach challenge, here's something you can look forward to. If you don't want to, that's fine. I'll see you tomorrow. What? I don't have to beat myself up. What he found was originally when people did the program, if they didn't get all three challenges and they didn't get it on time, it was just another access for the judge to beat us up. This program is all about what you want to do. How you feeling today? And imagine that we had a life like that, right? So we're going to talk about our goals, and Rick and I'm going to share what goals I had for the program when we did it. It just opened up over the summer for coaches, and then a couple weeks ago for you guys to be able to go through. So you're the first group going through, and especially grads, right? Like what's different? So the difference in the program is it's much more of a softer feel. It's much more engaging. It's a lot, and the results are the same. And the results are more about you noticing, oh, is this working when I don't do this? Is this working when I do this? And that to me has been one of the biggest differences. That and the celebrate Dude, and we'll talk about, I'll just go into, I'll go into sage steps now. So there's a difference between your muscle points and your sage steps. And he outlines this. Did you guys see the welcome module? Uh, okay. So there's under module, there's a welcome, and he'll do a video, and then he'll say, what are your reflections? Because that's how our brains learn. It's not just like video, 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 video. It's video. What are you noticing? Video, what are your goals? Video, click this link. And in that beauty, it's like it keeps you engaged. Makes sense so far? So you're also going to see something, good morning, David, called a sage step. And that's completely new. Those will come out more next week, but I want to set you guys up for what it looks like. So there's your muscle points, which you'll get just by going through the videos and watching things. Sage step is all you. Every time you catch the judge, you actually celebrate it. It's a sage step. Every time, I know, right? When did that ever happen? Every time you catch your saboteur, you get a point. So what I want you to know is you're going to get points for catching the stuff that's you don't like. Whereas before it was like, oh, it's the judge. Oh, I better figure out what to do. No, now we're teaching you. Yes, nailed it. It's a celebration of catching yourself doing both the judge, your saboteur, and we're going to ask you to do weird celebration things. He's going to talk about this. The other day, we were getting ready to get on a pod, and I had a few minutes. And instead of getting ready, I was like, I'm going to do a little cleanup. I had a little cleanup song. I've never had that. I was like, I'm doing the thing. I'm cleaning the stuff. I'm doing the thing. And then I realized I'm the geek that just was singing a song about doing stuff. In the past, I would have beat myself up for I should be preparing for a meeting. I should be doing this, but my brain wanted to get a couple of things done. I don't know if you guys have restless or the hyperachiever or whatever will be like, I can get 3 more things done before this in 10 minutes. I made a little song. So you guys can make a little song, or you can do a little thing. You're going to come up with some different ways, Cindy's already laughing, to celebrate catching the judge, to celebrate catching your saboteur, to celebrate your first steps. And that's something we didn't see in the original app. So most of the time, if you're a hyperachiever, I think, or any of the saboteurs, you celebrate the ending, right? Like the check mark, you get to cross it off the list. You guys get what I'm saying? This new program, y'all, you celebrate starting. You want to start going for a walk? You do your happy dance when you put your shoes on. You step outside and you're like, yay me, yay me. You don't have to just celebrate the ending, which I have to say, for me, has gotten me in so many bigger, more motivating situations. So you're going to see a lot more of that. You showed up. You get points just for opening your app. Boom, because you showed up. It's going to be more of a celebration. Every time we take your brain down the path you want to go, we're going to have you celebrate it. Does that make sense? And it's slightly different, right? It used to be about completing something, and now it's celebrating. Rick, do you want to talk about a couple of the others on the list?
Well, and about that celebration, the first thing that you'll notice that's different about the app is every time you turn the app on, boom, a little celebration, confetti. You get a point for just turning the app on. Rewarded. Yay, you looked at your app. And the whole point of this is it builds habits. That all the latest brain science says when you celebrate the first step, you're more apt to build a habit. And that's the one thing that I noticed is that this has helped me build a habit of doing reps first thing in the morning and helping me break the habit of picking up my phone and reading my emails, checking out the news, starting my day in Sage instead of starting my day with invitations to saboteur. Really powerful. So you're going to get Sage steps every time you catch the saboteur, every time you counter the saboteur, every time you invite in the feeling of love, every time you exercise the pattern of accept or convert. That idea of accept or convert was presented in the GROW program before, right? That those of you that have done GROW have noticed Shirzad talking about that, when he talks about being stuck in traffic and you have a choice. You can either accept it or convert the situation into something positive by taking advantage of, okay, I'm stuck in traffic. Let me phone into the meeting and do the meeting from my car. Or I'm stuck in traffic. I'm just going to accept this and enjoy the slower pace of the day. And that concept is now woven through, and you get sage steps every time you do that. And for each of the saboteurs, there'll be a question and a special step that you do. And it's kind of cool. We'll learn all the different steps that we take to intercept each saboteur. And the other thing is just asking the question, what's needed now? So at this whole concept, if you recall in the program, Shirzad talked about the difference between push and pull. That push energy can get things done, but the moment you push somebody, they go into a little resistance. Whereas pull energy is inspiration, is excitement. It's like push is a have to, pull is a get to. And this whole redesign of the program has been to take it out of push mode, which was, that the initial program, this is a boot camp. It's going to be hard for 6 weeks, but it will get our brain growing, and we're going to do this, and you're going to get up and you're going to do these PQs, and you're going to listen to the focus, and you're going to come back and you're going to remember to write in your journal and blah, 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 push through the program. And he went, okay, what was that creating? Resistance in people, a sense of failure. We would listen time and time again as people went through the program saying, I didn't get all my reps in today. I didn't meet 36. This isn't going to work for me. And we were like, hey, it's really forgiving. He shoots up here. And if you only do half of it, you still get the brain growth, and trying to explain that. And instead, he took all the need for that explanation out. And it's like, okay, come do this because you're going to experience something really cool. And if you like this, we're going to revisit it later this afternoon, and I'm going to do this. And it's like, oh yeah, that'll be cool. I'll have to remember to do that. And like, I get to do my PQs. Oh, I get to listen to Shirzad again. And if I don't, I didn't say I had to be there. All good. Life can come up and do what it needs to do without that beating of oneself up. No more guilt, no more shame. The program is all about do what you can when you're inspired to do it. And his mission is to make you more inspired every step of the way so that you actually do things because you want to, because you get to, because it feels good versus because you have to.
You're told to. The other one about, and I love that. And so there's some other differences you're going to note, nuances you'll notice in the program. Imagine your life. Imagine the hard things. And instead of them being hard things, you're like, I'm kind of excited to clean my office. What just happened? It will, if you start to apply what we're learning in this next program into your life, it makes everything different. It makes everything easier, whereas it was always about the boot camp. So the benefit of the push versus pull is that you can apply it. And we'll talk about our goals next. The other one, I get so excited about this one. Okay, so you know how you've done that, you do the empathy model, self-empathy and all that stuff. And in the GROW program, there's a lot of self-love stuff. Well, if you've never loved yourself, it's really hard to picture, right? Like, how do okay, I guess, all right, I'm good. This app, he imagines the love you have for someone or something else. Maybe it's a pet. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe it's a loved one. He has you imagine that love. You guys get where I'm going? Imagine the love you feel for someone else and then directing it to you. That was a vital misstep, I think, in the last one, because he's just like, oh, imagine that you love yourself, or look in the mirror and say, I love yourself. That doesn't actually, if you're not there, you're just saying words. But now we're taking that feeling of the fuzzy animal, like, or I love my mom, or the feeling I have for other people, and I'm actually making it a thing, and then I'm directing it back. That is another interesting, lovely step. So when you're struggling with self-empathy, or when we do some of the acceptance and stuff, you're going to learn that new step. And then, as Rick was mentioning, each of the saboteurs has a question to get out of them. For hyperachiever, it's what would make this more compelling instead of when am I done? How do I finish it? What's the end look like? I got to get to the goal. It's like, how can I make the journey more interesting? And my brain just goes, I can make the journey interesting. So each saboteur now has a question you can ask of it when you figure out which saboteur is present. And then what do? We celebrate for 10 seconds. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I got my saboteur. And then there's a question. He gives you a specific question for each saboteur. I actually love all the questions. So we want to go around, and this is new goal, new you. And by the way, we're going to, as Rick said, we're going to finish by the end of the year. We're going to finish December 29th. All of these are recorded. Each of the coach challenges, I think you have 2 a day now. Right, Rick? There's like
Yeah,
the morning one, and then there's
right,
like, if you feel like showing up later, check it
right,
out. And if you feel like showing up again, check it. I'm like, it is like,
right.
okay. But I'm so driven to do it because no one's telling me what to do. There's no resistance. So we're going to ask you guys if you've come up with any goals. And uh, Rick, I'll share mine. Rick, do you want to share when you did
Yeah.
the new one?
My goal was to really create some habits around PQs. I've integrated them into my life. Every time I coach somebody, I do PQs at the start of the coaching program. It looks like a grounding exercise. But I wanted to really establish that habit of starting my day in the PQ space to really break free of the habit of grabbing my phone first thing in the morning, to get out of bed and feel my feet on the ground, and to feel. My goal is to just be in a sage state even more than I already am, so that when things get crazy in the world or my personal world, I can stay sane.
Mm.
So that's my big enthusiastic goal. Yay, I have a goal. And that this whole thing about love and putting it in your heart, it might sound familiar to those of you that did the coach training with me, because that was the heart math. If you think back on the heart math exercise, it's really a concept. He's borrowed some heart math technique and wove it in to what we do, which is really cool.
And I'll just share what I wanted to create. I noticed over the last, I don't know, however long, a year, that I have a resistant. I don't tell me what to do. I got it. I will resist even if something is good for me. So it's been kind of a constant piece of work for me, to figure out what's under that. So my goal, instead of figuring out what was under that, which is such a mind thing, right? I need to understand why I do this. I need to know. I want to be in peace and ease. I want to find a way just to be in peace and ease and do things. And my idea is, what if it didn't have to be hard? It's like I make every challenge more challenging. I do another black belt test and I've got food poisoning. Like I have to make everything hard. It's like I made everything harder because it wasn't enough of an accomplishment, even the big stuff. And so when we did this program, I really started working on more peace and ease. And I wanted to create peace and ease with my body and my workouts. And I am my uh my happiest body weight. This is the weight that I'm normally at, and it's less than it used to be. I don't know how much because I'm not all that focused on the pieces of it. I'm a lot more fit. I can lift 25-pound dumbbells above my head. I do heavy weights because they feel good, not because someone else is telling me to do them. And also, I had a record financial month. I had a record financial month when we were doing this program. And here's the crazy part. I was on vacation for 2 weeks of it. 1 week in Mexico, 1 week in Miami. I don't know if that was quite a vacation, and had record months. Not pushing. My system is acclimated to must push, make hard, must work. Doesn't have to be that way. So that's been my huge breakthrough in this new program. So I'm super curious to see what happens for you guys too. So Rick is going to pick you, and we're going to go around. If you've got a goal or a couple of goals that you've got in mind, love to hear.
I know a lot of you know each other from the Sage Pod, but
yeah.
there are a couple people here that haven't been in the Sage Pod lately or have never been in the Sage Pod and don't know who each other are. So for everyone's sake, introduce yourself first and then tell me about your goals. So Cindy, let's start with you. Tell us a
Okay,
little
thank
bit
you.
about yourself.
All right, so I'm Cindy Reed. I currently live in Opelika, Alabama, although I'm from upstate New York originally, but came here years back for work at Auburn University and found it's kind of a nice place to live in many ways. Anyhow, so I'm retired educator after 40 plus years. Now I'm coaching. I've been coaching since 2020, started during the pandemic and saw the impact it could make and just fell in love with the possibilities for it. So I quickly share that I was kind of smiling, Theresa, when you were talking about the song. My trainer does that for me when I come in. If I've met my goals the time before, when I come in, he's blasting one of my favorite songs, like Celebrate or something like that. And it's just like, yay, Jacoby, you know, we're ready to rock and roll today. So I just had to giggle because he motivates me that way too. So I'm always curious to see what the song's going to be when I come in that day. Anyway, so my goal. Mind you, I just signed up yesterday, so I'm going to put a caveat there that I'm going to probably
Cindy,
keep
3 of
refining.
these people just signed up after you.
Okay, good. All right. So again, not apologizing for it, just I'm going to keep adjusting it, I think. So my goal is to be in my sage flow more often, and being partially to be more discerning about whether I'm hesitating because there's reason to hesitate or I'm resisting. And to really allow myself that time to play with it rather than starting to beat up on myself about, oh, here I go resisting again. So that's my initial goal.
Love
And
it.
it's great to see everybody. I'm looking forward to
Yes.
working with everybody.
Yes. Yay, Cindy. Great to have you here. All right, Don, tell us a little bit about yourself and what your enthusiastic goal might be.
Good morning. I'm Don Terzinski. I'm in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, right in the middle of the state. Want to be retired, but I'm not quite yet. So congratulations, Cindy. So I've got a few goals, right? First of all, I think Theresa and Rick brought it to light where it almost seems as if the old app, I guess, and I haven't been on the new one yet because I didn't realize that we were part of it yet, but the old app kind of gives you time constrictions. And then I noticed when I missed my 9 o'clock and then it's noon, my judge or somebody comes in and says, well, you might as well not do it at all now because you're not going to do 2 in a row, and then it's so I think my goal is to couple of things actually. Number one is actually do the sage pods or the sage exercises at least once a day, and not to be not to be pushed into doing it, to be pulled into doing it. Sounds wonderful. Absolutely. And to try to stay in my sage mind. It seems like my saboteurs take over considerably, and acknowledging those, but not doing anything about them, I think is really, really pushing me the opposite way. So I've got a few goals with this and looking forward to it. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yay, Don.
Hey, more saves. And you're so
Love
right about
it.
the time constraint. Like, and that's what he noticed. People beat themselves up and they're like, ah, well, forget about it. And now it's like, hey, do you want to check this out? Even on the weekends, guys, he'll say, some of you might not want to do stuff on the weekends. That's okay. These are all about well-being if you choose to do them. Love it.
And there's an option of doing something every day, 7 days a week, so you don't fall out of a routine if you're really trying to establish a routine. It's really kind of fun.
And the weekend ones are all about well-being. There's no doing. He's like, for many of you, you don't do work on the weekends. I respect that. So these are all about well-being and feeling good, not work. So needless to say, I do them.
Justin, tell us a bit about yourself and what your enthusiastic goal is.
I'm Justin Thompson, and I am a professional illustrator and cartoonist. And I was in the last PQ program, and it really changed a lot for me. So I am enthusiastically jumping into this one because it's supposed to be even better. And it's going to make me even better. I will be pulled into being better. And that's another, I guess, as far as goals, I watched Shirzad's video a couple of days ago. I started to think, all right, where's my goals? What are my intentions? And I was having difficulty coming up with something because I was thinking about, well, I was equating my goal into something, what I want. And I'm pretty good right now. But listening to the other people talk here today, I realized if I just apply the intention more into the program, there's a lot that I want. I want to be pulled into being almost obsessed with it so that I make the practice daily and habit forming doing this work. When it worked for me before, I was kind of half-assing it, I'll be honest, but it still worked great for me. So I think I can do even better this time with all of that. And I think that's my intention.
Love it.
I love that. Right there with you, Justin. That's great. Great.
And your desired outcomes will shift, as Cindy was saying, as you're going through. And I think we really get these nailed down a little deeper next week. And you can be like, okay, these are the two kind of outcomes that I want. And they can be feeling outcomes, y'all. They don't have to be, I want this thing. They can be feelings. I love that part.
Alan, tell us about yourself and what your enthusiastic goal is.
Hey folks, my name's Alan Armstrong. I just recently moved northwest of Toronto, Canada, in a very nice and peaceful environment. As Justin, I did the PQ process started in August 2021, and it was definitely life-changing. Not only for me. At the time, the organization I'm with, I'm part owner of a logistics company with two other guys. The organization was struggling. We were not doing well. And I used what I learned in the PQ sessions and the training to be able to establish a better environment for all our employees. And since then, the company has grown. We are financially secure. I semi-retired last year. So Cindy, not completely retired, but semi-retired. And I get to spend 3 months in Arizona doing what I know I like best. And you can see there's a bike behind me. So that's my biggest hobby. And now I am known in the organization as the Sage. So my goal, having said that, is twofold. The first goal is I this morning just redid my saboteur assessment. It's the same three, different order. My hypervigilance is the biggest, and it's all related to my health. I've had 3 bouts with cancer in the last 15 years. And as of late, I've been sick a lot, and some of my joints, which were the cause of my first cancer, are hurting again. So I immediately go into hypervigilance when that happens. So I'm targeting this and hitting it head on. I've got an MRI booked tomorrow, and so that's number one. As soon as something is off with my health, I immediately go into negative hypervigilance. So I need to go back to my Sage powers to be able to deal with that. Then the other one, being semi-retired, is I feel restless at times. I'm not involved in the organization 100%. I put in my old position, I put an amazing person. Having said that, I sometimes very uncomfortable not being in the know. So I need some guidance and some tools to be able to deal with that.
Well, this is a great use for the program to take on that hypervigilance. And I love that you've identified 2 saboteurs that you're going after specifically with this. And this is I think it's a great way to do that.
And notice since I'm a 3, I didn't go with any achiever goals.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you know what?
Yeah.
I think I'm past that. So that's a whole different discussion, but I think in that area, I feel good.
And I love that you're in action, that you're taking, you've activated the activate power. Okay, schedule the MRI. Done.
Yes.
Good. Yes.
Knowing that I'm restless, the restless is showing up. But which, by the way, every time restless shows up now, you're going to be like,
yeah,
look at me feeling restless. You don't have to do my weird dance.
You mean versus my girlfriend telling me you're bored, you don't know what to do, right?
Yes, versus that.
All right, Nicole, tell us a bit about yourself and what your exciting goal is.
Sure. So I'm coming off video. I don't normally come off video, but I'm hiding from my children right now. So I'll come off video. So when I did the first round of this program, I was going through a divorce, which was very difficult, but the program helped. My top 2 saboteurs were stickler and hypervigilant. And I work in compliance for a financial services company, which is very much aligned with my stickler. But for this round, I'm feeling like, what's next? What do I want? What do I want to create? Where do I want to be? And it was interesting in taking the assessment again, because my top is now hypervigilant. And my second is restless, which, Alan, I totally get it. And I think that restless is really like, what's next? Like, okay, there's something, what's it going to be? What do I want to create? What do I want to do? And so my goals for this round of the program are really to practice like emotional regulation, self-love, and boundaries. And use my Sage to practice those things in recognizing my hypervigilant and restless.
I'm sorry, I danced at boundaries because, what was
I
it?
know.
Social regulation, something in boundaries.
That's your jam. That's your jam.
I'm like a little chihuahua when someone says boundaries. Emotional regulation. What was the middle one?
Self-love.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
which is related to boundaries. I mean, they're all related, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all related. So yeah.
Well, and let me ask you this, when we were talking about imagining a thing outside of yourself that you can love, and then having an exercise or a practice where you turn it in, does that make more
Mhm.
sense than just like, yay me?
It does.
It's all,
It
yeah,
does.
it's like imagining the fuzzy love that you have for someone else. And then and I
Exactly.
needed that. I missed that the first round. I mean, I have a lot of self-like,
Sure.
self-love, but that physical idea and practice,
Yeah. And I think that's where I've struggled with like self-care, you know, is you really have to have self-love in order to master self-care, right? And I mean, there again, it's all related. So yeah, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
I love that. You know what's funny about this, you guys?
Hey.
0 people had a X number of this goal. None of you guys do you know what, normal, typical goal setting, right? SMART goals, specific,
Mhm.
measurable. All of you are like, I want to be more practiced in my sage. I want to have emotional regulation, self-love, boundaries. I want to have more peace and flow. I want to be able to counteract the hypervigilant one. Like, oh my God, this is like next level already.
Yeah, this is going to be a great group. Thank you so much, Nicole.
Thank
All
you.
right, David, welcome back to the world of Sage and Saboteur. Tell us about yourself.
David's on a plane. Do you want me to read this, David?
Oh,
Please.
please.
Okay. David says, on travels today, sitting on a plane. I recall some of my best advancements was during the last PQ program, and I'm grateful to be pulled in again from Rick's email yesterday. Go, Rick. My goals in the program is to embrace my life's purpose and service. Nice. In service, my life's purpose in service. I'm transitioning out of my business and into discovering my true passions. I choose to take inspired action to serve the world, to embrace being more instead of needing to do. Whew, I just got chills. And even in my doing, my goal is to be much more present and accepting of all that is. I'm gonna cry. My goal is to fully open my heart to deep love. May I just say, damn.
Yeah. You just
Okay,
got chills.
I got leaky eyes now. That's beautiful.
Yeah, in the right place. So, David, are you still in Cabo in Mexico or back in the US? See, all right. So we're all across the Americas. We've got Alan in Canada and David in Mexico and the rest of us in the States. This is great.
Woo! And it's all about the next steps. It's like, what are the next steps that my soul wants for me? What are the next steps that the universe is guiding me toward? What is it that is pulling me, that's talking to me? And that's really what this program is going to be about. The only other differences are that you're going to have content on Friday mornings. So your little videos are going to start on Friday mornings. And he's going to ask you, Rick, do you want to talk about the 4 tips? Or not?
Yeah. Get back to the
So you guys are the first graduates we're taking through. So we're like, okay, yeah, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. So we're focusing on what's different.
So tip number 1 was enthusiasm, right? He wants us to embrace enthusiastically the program and get charged up and excited that we get to do this. The second tip that he really wants us to look at is be prepared to deal with your trauma and it's okay to avoid trauma. When he has exercises, you don't have to pick the most traumatic experiences of your life. In fact, he'd say, maybe not for this program. You could choose other things. You don't have to make the program hard. And okay, I remember 2 of them.
The other one is prepare. So prepare when you're going to do your videos. So just like the idea of goal setting, our brains are target seeking missiles. So the videos come out on Friday. I'm always like, I will do them either Saturday, Friday. Okay, if I do them on Friday, that's great. But my goal is to do them Saturday or Sunday. Sunday is my drop dead day prepare when you're going to watch your video, your weekly video. Prepare what that's going to look like. Since you guys are in a pod on Sunday morning, I would suggest Saturday, Friday, or really early on Sunday.
Right.
And he'll also give you the choice of doing a visualization or contemplation. So some people don't have good visual skills. When you imagine a picture, you struggle, right? So he gives you another option. What? Instead of everybody doing the same thing, you can get either a visualization or a contemplation. But prepare, think about when am I going to set aside to do? So Friday morning, Friday afternoon, Saturday. I don't know why I keep picking mornings because I like doing it first thing because it gets my brain right. And then I remember to feel the carpet underneath my toes. That's one of mine and Rick's favorites, new PQs, is you step on the carpet or you step off the bed and you go, ooh, toes on floor. Ooh. And you have your own little PQ moment right when you get out of bed.
Yep. And you celebrate. And the final tip, do you recall?
Oh, I do. I have it in our notes. Push versus pull, plan it. You don't have to do the hard stuff. Yeah, I don't remember. I think that's all of them. I'm looking at our little guide thing.
Yeah.
And once again, you guys, you want to find that meaningful goal. And I know that we've talked about all of these goals are sort of the what am I looking for? The word I'm looking for. All these goals are feeling goals. I want to feel different. I want to, so that the opportunity is to notice where you're feeling or what you're feeling now. And I will also, we've talked about this. When you notice that your life is better when you're doing your PQs, I find it super interesting. And why do we stop? But the reason that I love that question is, oh my gosh, I'm impatient. I haven't been doing my PQs. Yay me for noticing, instead of what's the normal one? Stupid. I feel better when I do my PQ. Exactly, Justin.
Right? Yeah.
We beat ourselves up. So now it's about using that mental muscle to celebrate. It's using that mental muscle to go, wow, I really do feel better when I'm okay. I'll do more. I can do that. I can absolutely do that.
And you'll notice that the app looks fairly similar. There's not a whole lot of changes, but subtle changes. So, like, okay, where do I record my reps? You can go to the PQ gym and put in your minutes in there, or you can count reps as steps and add them in as steps, and it all adds to your muscle. All your settings have been reset when you join this. So we're all starting at 0, which is all great. Get points along the way. But the points lead to levels. And so there's big celebration every time you advance to a new level. And when you've completed level 5, you have grown enough gray matter to show up on the brain scan. So and he has special videos that pop up and reveal themselves each time you move to a new level of the program. So some things that you'll notice, some shifts in your brain that you might pick up along the way.
All right. Are there any questions that you guys have about the program? About what we're going to be doing? You're all just ready to get started. It's awesome. That's it for us. We plan on doing these right before the Sage Pod. And if you want to join us in the Sage Pod after, great. If you don't, guess what? Great. No pressure if you're in Sage Pod. So I know several of you are in Sage Pod, and it's like, do I do both? Do I do one? Sure. You get to pick.
We'll have at least one more person with us here in a couple weeks. I don't think she can join next week. And that's for those of you that are regular attendees of the Sage Pod. It's happy She's been with us a long time. She's in California.
All right, well, that's it for us, you guys. Anything else that you've got that you want to bring up, or any questions? And also, there's a great in Explore More, there's the neuroscience of positive intelligence white paper. And there's another, if you're, into that kind of learning, there's more information. He gives you the background and backdrop of all of it. And I will also say this new program, Rick and I did a great job, I think, of making the saboteurs into also having their strengths. He does that now too. He doesn't make the saboteurs all bad and wrong and awful.
And if you want to listen to the audiobook again, it's still here in the app for you. I'd recommend that. It can be fun. There's good stuff here.
And that's it. That's it for our meeting. I think we may have
you're all connected in the community now. There's you have a pod where you can communicate to everybody except for Happy and me directly, which we're connected because it all depends on whose system the person originally signed up in. So Happy was before we teamed up. She goes way back. We'll see who else adds in over this next week. I have a feeling we'll have some more people joining us.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we're done with you guys, unless you've got anything else you want to share. Go get them. How many of you guys are like kind of excited? Like, okay, this actually sounds exactly like what I was needing, which is why we've been trying to explain to people it's not a have to. Oh, just in Northern California. And David's in Baja or San Jose del Cabo. But this is the exciting part. Like, what if our lives were filled with this level of like, I think I'll do that. I think I like that. That sounds good. Right? That's why we've been so adamant about trying to explain this program in a way that excites you. So if you're in the Sage Pod, let people know this is easy and fun. Freedom is my love language, right? Freedom, Nicole, you and me, freedom and choice. Like, and when he offers us the choice, and not only that, in the focuses, he'll say, later, we're going to talk about how this applies if you're a blank, if you want to check it out. And I'm always like, yes, I want to know now. He just seeded that for me. I'm really excited to hear about what's next. He does it in every video. It's so awesome. It just makes you curious, which is one of our Sage powers. So yeah, there's a lot more freedom, a lot less beating up.
I think I found myself really inspired to look at how I can make my life more pull and less push. Every aspect of it, from everything I teach to work with my clients, everything is all about the pull energy these days. Stepping out of push.
I love that, Rick. I got to say, it's the same with me for exercise now. If I do a push-up, I celebrate the push-up, and then I'll do some more because they feel good, right? Like there's not that beating up. And I have noticed I am eating less because I'm noticing that I'm at ease and flow and full. I don't need, there's not that extra hole of wanting foods to solve anything. It's different. I'm just going to tell you guys, it's all different. And I'm so excited that you're here. And I also just want to thank you for trusting us again.
Thanks
especially Don and Cindy, who just went through the PQ program and are like, yeah, we'll do the new one too.
Same thing with Cindy. Yay.
Don and Cindy, man. And then the OGs.
Yes.
Thank you. And thank you, David, for jumping back in too. I know it's been a while.
Yeah. Excited to see people back and have y'all here together. Can't wait to see where this goes.
All right, I'm going to hit stop recording.